For everyone who solves crime from their couch, knows more about forensics than their own job, and has trust issues with small-town sheriffs, Amazon Music's millions of podcast episodes are calling. Just download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite true crime podcasts ad-free. Included with Prime.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay and choo-choo!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another wild, crazy adventure that we like to call Small Town Murder Express. 10 pounds of murder in a 2-pound bag is how we like to put it, because it's a lot, and we're going to cram it into an hour, and we have a wild story for you this week, as always. Before we get to that, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com and get your tickets for live shows. Also, merch is all over the place, too. Everything from coffee cups to skateboards. But you definitely want to get your tickets. Let's see, May 1st, Salt Lake City, that's sold out. But Denver, May 2nd, tickets left for that one still. And Buffalo on May 29th, also sold out. But Royal Oak, Michigan on May 30th, you can do that. So, and we're going to drive it.
Just outside of Detroit.
Yeah, even if you're in Buffalo and you want to go and it's sold out, go to Detroit. We're driving it. We'll caravan it. Let's go.
Get in the trunk.
Get in the trunk. We got back space or back seat room. So do that and come see us. That is shutupandgivememurder.com. Definitely get yourself some Patreon. That's the thing here. Wow. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of the bonus material, and there's a lot of it. As soon as you subscribe, you're going to get hundreds of back bonus episodes you've never heard before. So it's a whole thing to binge on its own. And you get new ones every other week, one crime and sports, one small town murder, and you get it. How much do they get?
Every damn bit of it.
All of it. That's right. Yeah. So this week, what you're going to get for crime and sports, we're going to talk about the craziest names in sports history, which sounds weird, but it's going to be fun, too.
Legal names.
Legal, or whatever they're called. Yeah, and not just a nickname, but something that's weird names and things like that, little bios. It's going to be fun. And then for small town murder, we're going to talk about Stockholm Syndrome, not the actual syndrome, which is, you start to identify with your captors if you're held hostage or something. But the incident that made the term Stockholm Syndrome, it's the craziest story ever. So can't wait to get into that. So that is patreon.com/crime in sports. So get in there. You also get everything that we put out, all the shows, all ad-free with your Patreon as well. Crime and sports, your stupid opinions, both small town murders, and you get a shout out at the end of the regular show too. For sure. Jimmy will mess your name all up for you. Don't you worry Don't you worry about that one bit. That said, I think it's time, everybody. Mm-hmm. What do you say? I think it's time to sit back. What do you do? Let's clear the lungs here. Arms to the sky, and let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? I'm over here punching my mic, doing a good job with that. I got a little carried away with the shut up and give me murder. Well, I got carried away. Get into it, man. Let's go on a trip.
It's part of it, yeah.
Let's go to New York, everybody. Let's do it. We're going way out in western New York here. This is Pembroke, New York. Pembroke, Pembroke, New York.
Or Pembroke?
Way out in, I don't think it's Pembroke. Yeah. No, this isn't West Virginia. Where they're like, just make that O and I. No, we're not doing that. It's Pembroke.
They do Pembroke,
I'm sure.
Right? Pembroke and Pembroke and Pembroke.
I'm sure there's
who gives a shit
all over the place. This is in western New York. It's about 35 minutes outside of Buffalo. Yeah. About 2 hours to Syracuse if you want to be like hip deep in snow, and then 8 hours to our last New York episode.
God damn.
It's pretty much as far as you can get. It was in East Hampton, which is at the far end of Long Island, and this is western New York. So an 8-hour drive to East Hampton, New York, episode 643, The Electrician Executioner, which was there was a bunch of dead people in that one. That was a crazy episode. I remember that. That was a full length, and it was wild. This is in Genesee County. Area code 585. Population here, not a big place, 4,261. So pretty small town there.
Near the river then, yeah?
Near the river? The Genesee River?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's so much water up here because you're outside of Lake Erie. There's a lot of lakes and a lot of rivers and streams. Genesee, there's a lot of Genesee stuff.
That's a person, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, I think so. But that's Pennsylvania has a lot of Genesee stuff too.
Okay.
There's that
Just
Geneseo
that area,
beer.
I imagine.
Yeah, it's that
That
western-
area is where the person was at. whoever the fuck
Probably.
they are.
It had to be. There's
Probably a mayor.
it's probably worked for the railroad, as we find out, as most of the time. The median household income here, $73,917. So it's just above the national average. But the median home cost, very low. People think of New York and they think of the whole place as New York City, and that's
no.
very basically there's from me down, and then there is the rest of New York, which is enormous. And
and what you just said,
different.
It's 8 hours from this place to Long Island.
It's a big state.
And there's still further west to go through New York.
Yeah,
New
you can
York
still
is
go
a
more.
very big state. People don't know it.
It's a big state. Median home cost here, $193,800. So people think of New York as expensive and all that. Not in the middle of nowhere. It's not. You can go to like central New York. You can get a mansion for $200,000.
My aunt has
there.
a home near the Canadian border in New York. She has acres upon acres of land, and it's not worth $300,000.
No, that's what I mean.
And there's a house on it.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's up there. There's a lot of land to go.
Forever.
History of this town, Pembroke, it was known as Oage, which means on the road. That's what the Indians called it, apparently. It was settled in 1804 by David Goss. Okay. It was established originally as part of the town of Batavia, which is then separated from them. It was set off from the town in 1812 and it was like part in the town of Darien and part in the town of Alabama, which they have the town of Alabama up here and the town of Oakland. They really need to come up with some new.
Get a little more unique. Maybe it's just the West and South got to get more unique.
Something.
It's probably here first, right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. But either way, once there's a state, we go, oh, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So,
Or a big city.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of little towns here, and that's kind of how it works. I got reviews of this town because we've never been here.
Never.
We don't know anything about this place. So here's 4 stars, or it has 4 stars total on Niche. That's its rating. Okay. Here's a 5-star. I love how much country there is.
Right.
I don't know if they mean around here or just in general.
Or music or...
Sounds like Borat came here and saw a wide open space and goes, I love how much country there is. Look, it's beautiful.
Look at all the country.
Look at the beautiful country. There's a lot of open fields for riding wheelers and snowmobiles.
Oh.
Get your wheelers out, everybody.
Hell yeah.
Get your wheelers.
Man after my own heart. Let's go hillbilly.
Having some fun. It's in the snow, though, usually.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd love
or
to
in the summer,
snowmobile.
too.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it's fun. Fun shit. Yeah. Snow is fun to fuck around on. Everyone in town knows you, and you're always welcomed by the people in the town. I like how small the school is because there's more one-on-one between teachers and students. That's not good these days. That's going to be. We need more. We need 30 kids in the classroom as witnesses for, you know what I mean?
More eyes
in case something happens.
More eyes makes the trial easier.
Yeah, it's much easier with more witnesses.
Forces a plea bargain.
Yeah, you figure 20 of the kids will be on their phones. They're not going to see any diddling going on. So, maybe 5, 6 of them will pay attention.
20 more eyes.
You never know. Here's 4 stars. When I choose my heaven, my hometown would be the place with all the people I met and lived with there.
What the fuck?
They are happy now. They could die happy, and as long as they could stay here. That's wild.
If I could choose my heaven, this is it?
This is it. The coffee shop, the same assholes I went to high school with. That's my heaven. Wow. Okay. Here's 3 stars. Well, there isn't much crime in violence. I think he means probably. And violence in my area, such as the occasional DUI and speeding tickets. That's not really much crime. However, there was a man who shot at firefighters responding to a house fire, but that was probably the worst crime that was committed that I can recall at the moment.
That's a pretty horrific crime.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, they come to you start shooting at them. That's awful. That's the worst. Yeah, that is the worst. That's terrible.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty goddamn bad.
Shooting at first responders? Jesus Christ.
Did you set the fire, too, to draw them in? That's even better if you did that. That makes it worse.
Was it to kill the firemen or to stop them from discovering what you've lit a fire?
Yeah, is there a corpse in there, or a meth lab or something? Things to do. The Kiwanis Club Car Cruise and Fall Festival.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
boy.
all my 45 years, I still haven't figured out what the fuck the Kiwanis Club is.
I have no idea. I just remember Hunter Thompson used to joke about him all the time, and people would say, like, are you this or you that? He'd go, hey, man, don't look at me. I'm Kiwanis. And they'd go, oh, because no one knows what that is. That's what he would
Nobody
say.
has a fucking clue.
Yeah, people would say all this stuff. He'd go, don't blame me, man. I'm Kiwanis. And people go,
Yeah.
okay. And then they'd stop talking to him. That's a
Leave
good
him
way to do
alone.
it.
The man's Kiwanis.
He's Kiwanis. I don't know. He's crazy. Not a lot going on there. Last year, we had a little over 500 vehicles and filled 96 vendor spaces. It's $100. Rain or shine, by the way. Take your car out there.
Yeah.
Then there's the Oakland Labor Days, DAZE, of course. Yeah. It's a
$100 to enter your car or to participate?
food vendor
Oh,
space.
okay,
The booths are, and then there's booths for $25. Yeah. The Oakland Labor Days is a family-friendly music festival with many fun-filled, alcohol-free events.
Oh,
that sounds awful.
how do you have fun?
How do the adults have fun? Jesus Christ. They got well, that's why. They have live music, food vendors, children's activities, community workshop, community worship service. Yeah. 5K race, car cruise, parade, fireworks show. Let's see what we have here. We have a band called the Sky Cats will be there.
Sure.
Sky Cats, like, I think this is a Christian thing. Hazard County will be there. Wonder what they play.
Oh, boy.
Shocking there. The Dave Veteran Music Group, the Christian Music Hour at 9 a.m. Imagine being woken up and dragged to a park to listen to Christian music at 9 a.m.
No.
That sounds fucking like a nightmare. The Songbirds, the Russ Peters Group, which sounds like an investment business. Invest with the Russ Peters Group. Solid investments for your future.
Streak? It was something Peters, right?
I don't know.
I forget his name.
And then there's Russell Peters, the comedian, of course.
Yeah.
Dark Horse Run. Nerds Gone Wild will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rip
That's
it
where they
up.
show you their trombone.
Oh, going to show you my slide.
Yeah.
The Batavia Swing Band. The Public Water Supply.
What? That's a band name?
That's a band name because they play both nights. Public Water Supply. I was like, what do they have, like a speech from the water guy, and then they're back the
No,
next
it's just
night?
the utility guys that all work together.
And they have
just
like
put together a band.
And they have like a 2-hour set. So I'm like, that's got to be music. And then the Floyd Concept Basket and the Floyd Concept. That's I assume a Pink Floyd cover band. And then he basket and raffle drawings when I had the words running together.
Floyd Experience Basket Raffle.
That's what you're doing.
Band.
That's a great band. It's my favorite band. But you know what? With a small town festival, you never know.
Who knows? Yeah.
It might be the Floyd Concept Basket and Raffle Drawing Band. That's we've heard weirder names. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. So that said, let's talk about some murder. What do you say here?
Go. Yeah.
We got some wild stuff. Okay. Got to give credit, by the way, to the Batavia Daily News, which is obviously a newspaper or online deal there, because they covered this very, very well.
Nice.
Which is understandable why they would want to, because it's crazy stuff, man. Okay. Oh. Let's start out and talk about a guy here. All right. We're going to start out in 2009, so not too far back here. You know, basically everything's the same except you don't have Instagram. That's about it. That's what we got.
Yeah, I guess we didn't, did we?
No, still got an iPhone in your hand, still, or whatever, an Android, still, same shit. Scott Franklin Dahl, we're going to talk about, Doll, Dahl.
Oh.
He's 46 years old in 2009. He grew up in and lived in the village of Corfu, Corfu, which I've never heard of. Corfu,
No,
bitch.
F-U.
That definitely sounds like a code.
Yeah.
Shit. It's a really small place, less than 1,000 people, all that kind of shit.
Okay.
His family has run a grocery store there for 40 years.
Nice.
So everybody knows them. They're the town grocery store in a town of less than 1,000 people. That's called the Dahl's Super Duper. That's what it's called, the grocery store. Yeah. He's a volunteer firefighter when he grows up. He attends the same church his entire life.
Really?
Everybody says he is reliable. He's a real
Mr. Corfu.
Everybody knows who he is, what he's going to do, where he goes. On Sunday, you can look over. Scott Dahl's going to be over, and that's his spot. He's there every damn week. You know what I mean? He's if there's a fire, he's going to have his little uniform on there, putting it out. He becomes a corrections officer. And
Really?
a lot of these Western and Central and all over New York towns, that's the only work around there.
It's the big work, huh?
That's the work if you want to make anything, I mean, $40,000 a year back in the day or whatever and have benefits and stuff, that's the job. It's either that or who knows around there. So
run your parents' grocery store.
It's difficult. And the way the system works too, some of the people that are up there, then they get stationed somewhere else.
Oh, they get transferred, huh?
You don't necessarily, when you become a prison guard in New York or whatever corrections officer, you don't necessarily you don't work where you are.
You can be moved.
That you can be moved. They'll just send you around like you're in the Army, which is crazy.
And you got no choice. They just say you're gonna go to Pennsylvania now.
You're going to Sing. Well, no, New York. You're going to Sing Sing now. So you could be going 7 hours away from where you live, which is brutal.
But it's only New York.
It's I don't know. I think it's by state. I'm sure other states have a similar way, but I'm not sure because in New York the corrections officers are technically the same as police officers.
Oh, government employee.
Yeah, off duty, they can make arrests and shit, if they really want to. Yeah. It's interesting. They're supposed to carry a gun and all that crap.
Sworn and everything, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of I think California's like that too because you got to be a prison guard before you become a sheriff. You have to be a CO before you're a sheriff. That's how it works.
That's wild.
To be able to be a cop, you have to go through that, which just makes you think everyone's a criminal since you were in a place where everyone's a criminal. Then you get out on the street and treat everybody like you did in prison. Really not the best plan, I don't think.
It's a fascinating plan.
It's a weird plan. So way off of that, he becomes a corrections officer, and he does that for almost 25 years, as we'll talk about here.
Imagine you just want to give speeding tickets, and then you get shanked in the fucking throat.
Yeah,
that's fucked up, man.
To do that, you got to do that. I guess it seems odd, but those seem like very separate skill sets.
It's a weird through line. Yeah.
Dealing with people on the outside and dealing with people who are in there already is definitely way different. So he was the supervisor in the special needs unit at the Wendy Correctional Facility in Erie County, which is a maximum security prison that houses inmates with IQs of 90 or below.
Oh boy!
So I just saw Jimmy doing math and going, Jesus, that's not good.
I'm real close
because you're always saying it. It's the only reason why I brought it up.
It's not great.
You just went, oh shit, that's bad. I don't want to be in special
dealing
needs
with
prison.
A bunch of me that can't read all day.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
It's bad enough to be in prison, but it's like you're not only can you not be in society, but even in prison. You need a little extra help.
Shrink you down.
You need a little extra help in prison.
Amongst a smaller group of people.
That's tough.
That you can carry on conversations with.
That's tough, man. That's a tough road for a criminal.
Tough road to hoe, babe.
Yeah, it is. So by 2009, he's earning $75,000 a year in salary from the New York State Department of Corrections. He's also doing the volunteer firefighting, and he also started a business where him and a partner buy cars at auction and sell them. A little used car business as well.
Yeah.
A little cash on the side. So early 2009, he is 3 months away from his 25th anniversary in service with the corrections department there, which makes him eligible for full retirement benefits at that point.
Dude started at 21. That's incredible.
So he's 46 now, and he's ready to do that. He's also in a shitload of debt. Well, not a shitload, but a shitload for him. I mean, compared to some people. But he's in about $28,000 of debt.
That's great.
Which isn't bad, but in 2009, and if you're making $75,000 a year, that's still you're chipping away at that. That's not.
Yeah.
Can't just pay that off.
Unsecured though is not easy.
No, and a lot of it's from his divorce too. He's got debts from the divorce and shit like that. So that doesn't make him happy.
No.
His side business is called SF Enterprises. Enterprises with a Z, of course.
Hell yeah.
It's 2009.
We're down, man.
It's 2009, but he thinks it's 95. So he's like, with a Z, man. We'll make.
Still wearing lugs with a Z.
So they know we got an edge. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So they operate that out of 3 Corfu Plaza. That's the business address there. They purchase used cars at the Odessa, whatever it is, Odessa auction in Clarence, and then they fix them up and they sell them locally. His friend that he runs it with is an old friend from the Wyoming Correctional Facility, which is in New York, obviously. A guy named, obviously, a guy named Joseph Benequist is his business partner. And he's 66 in 2009, 20 years older, but they've known each other through work. He's a corrections officer, too. He's retired now, Benequist, but that's what he did. So he retired from the work. They both were at the Wyoming Correctional Facility when they became friends in the mid-'90s, when Z's were cool. And they worked the same shift, so they became buddies, and they had coffee in the morning and ate lunch together and talked as they walked out at the end of their shift and all that kind of shit. Work friends.
Pals, yeah.
Pals. Now, Joseph lives, Benequist here, he kind of lives out kind of in the middle of nowhere a little bit.
Oh.
It's on a road called Knapp Road, and it is his nearest neighbor is at least 100 yards away.
Nice.
So, I mean, not middle of nowhere, but definitely not. You're not hearing shit from your neighbors.
Deep.
That's a football field away. It's a pretty good distance. Now, he has many kids. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. Looks like 3 daughters and a son. He's got a couple of. Yeah, Benequist does. Yeah. He's got a couple of stepfathers. He's got 9 grandchildren by 2009.
Wow.
So yeah, he's pumping them out here. Now, January 26th, 2009 is the Corfu Republican Caucus. Now, trust me, there's nothing to do with politics here. It's just that's what happens.
Not a contentious one up there in Corfu,
That's what I mean. We're talking about a very few people. This isn't
2009. This was so.
Well, this is the caucus for mayor, not for anything national. So
right.
Yeah. So this is the mayoral
local caucus.
The local caucus, the mayoral caucus, and they endorse Scott Dahl to run for mayor.
How about that?
He's a firefighter, corrections officer. His family's well known. Everyone in town knows him since he was a little kid because his family
public
runs
servant
the
his whole
grocery
life,
store.
James.
So he's he's a well-known guy around the village, so he's got a good shot here. He has no prior government experience and had recently moved back to the village from other places, but
no prior.
He was it. He's the guy, though. They're gonna
take the top dog job as your first foray, and
in a town of 800 people.
I guess that's not so bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, not very. I mean, people run like eBay businesses that are bigger than that. You know what I mean? It's not that difficult. So early 2009, Joseph Benequist buys a car here. He buys a Pontiac G6.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that's a good car.
Whoa, not this one.
No?
Look up a 2006 Pontiac G6. It's not good.
Is it different from? I mean, they don't make it anymore.
There's a good reason.
The Pontiac G6 was like the
shit.
Like
they don't make Pontiacs anymore.
Did Pontiac quit?
Like 15 years ago. Yeah, they've been gone a long time. Pontiac.
The G6 was like the answer to the GTO. No, I guess it's not.
No, it's a little shit
It's the
box.
Small GTO.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not cool.
Oh, the G8 is the cool one.
Yeah, G6, not
all right.
Good.
The G6, it's just. It's like a Mazda 6. It's just a little family car.
It's a little car. It's probably good on gas.
Yeah. I guarantee that.
Joseph buys this at the Odessa auction for personal use. Okay. Not to sell. He pays $10,000 toward a $13,300 purchase price. Okay. Now, the way it works is it's from the company that he's paying the money because they have the account to pay the thing.
Right.
So that's what he's supposed to do. But apparently, Scott Dahl never forwarded the $10,000 to the financing company like he's supposed to.
Okay.
So it just didn't go there for some reason. And we're not sure why he didn't do that, but he didn't pay them for it, which is odd because that's where they run their that's where they get all their cars. So they have to stay on good terms with those people.
Right.
So it's strange. Now, February 16th, 2009, Benequist here. Now he's fixing this car up a bit too, so he's put some money into it.
Oh yeah.
He's got a flat tire on the old G6 that night.
Oh boy.
Not good. So apparently he has a bunch of cars in his driveway, Benequist. There's a Nissan Altima also. So he goes home to get the jack from the Nissan Altima to change the tire.
The G6 doesn't have a jack in it.
Doesn't have a jack, or he doesn't have one either way. So apparently Joseph Benequist and Josh Dahl, who is Scott's son, take the G6. They were going to take the G6 to the Odessa auction that night. I don't know if he was going to sell it or what, or if he was going to drive it
buy
there.
More, driving it. Yeah,
I think he's just driving it there.
Yeah.
But the jack that he went to get from the Altima turned out to be broken. So now he's
God
got
damn it! What a night.
all these cars, broken jack, fucking flat tire. Very annoying. So late afternoon, early evening, Josh Dahl and Benequist don't end up at the auction as they were supposed to. They were supposed to go there. Scott Dahl says he was trying to reach them but couldn't get a hold of them also to see what was going on. So apparently what he says, Scott Dahl's driving his mother's Ford Windstar minivan. Hot ride.
It keeps getting worse.
That's right. If you buy and sell cars, you can't have a better car than that lying around you could drive. You got to borrow
His
mom's
fleet
Windstar.
is shit. I got to be honest.
A G6, a Windstar, an Altima.
An Altima that has a bad jack.
This is a shit. Yeah. This is a terrible group of cars these people have.
If the jack's broken, think about the rest of the fucking automotive reliability of this thing.
No shit, man. He's driving a Windstar.
They don't make that either anymore.
Probably not.
They don't.
I wouldn't think so. I don't see a lot of minivans out there. They have
the
now.
minivan market really shit the bed, didn't it?
Well, just changed into the crossovers. That's all.
Well, I mean, you've got the Odysseys and the Siennas of the Toyotas and the Hondas, but
SUVs of various size.
I think the Quest is what did it. That Nissan Quest fucked the whole market.
Well, they became a punchline for so long.
The
minivans.
And they tried to make it cool with that dumb commercial with the swagger wagon shit. It's and being a dad is not fucking cool.
I think the Pontiac Aztec killed
Maybe so.
Killed minivans. They just said, okay, this is the best idea. We were out of ideas with the minivan. Scratch it. I'll get it off the plate.
That's the start of the crossovers. Everybody saw that and were like, oh, we could certainly do better than that, right?
God awful. God awful. So apparently Scott Dahl says he was going to head over to look for Joseph Benequist and Josh Dahl is what he's doing that night. That's what's going on in the early evening. Now, that sets the table as far as we don't really know where Joseph and Josh are. They're supposed to be at an auction, but they're not. Flat tire, broken jack. Scott Dahl's out in the Windstar looking for him. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a much better way to get your meats with Good Chop.
GoodChop.com. It's terrific.
It is so good. They deliver high quality. It is top quality American meat and seafood right to your door. It's vacuum sealed and frozen at peak freshness. Your freezer's going to stay stocked. You can cook it when you want, and you never have to gamble on the dicey grocery store meat selection again, because that is not the place you want to be. You never know. Sometimes it's real not great. I don't know about that. So unlike many other companies, Good Chop sources its meat and seafood exclusively from American farms and fisheries, and by choosing Good Chop, you support local family farms and independent ranchers right here in the U.S. Thing is, you customize your box from over 100 menu items, including they have USDA choice and prime steaks, 100% grass-fed beef, wild-caught seafood, organic chicken, responsibly raised pork. Their pork chops are top-notch.
Oh, those Duroc chops are incredible.
They are really good, and so much more. They have their seafood's really good too. I mean, the steaks are unbelievable. You'd expect that, but I mean, all the other stuff is great too. And there's a money-back guarantee. What do you want what else can you ask for? Good Chop sources only the good stuff, which is why they feel confident about their 100% money-back guarantee. Love Good Chop or get your money back. Plain and simple. Go to goodchop.com/podcast and use the code 50smalltownmurder to get $50 off plus free shipping on your first order. That's $50 off plus free shipping at goodchop.com/podcast, code 50smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor we could possibly have, Simply Safe.
SimplySafe.com, SIMPLI safe.com.
Absolutely. You get all these notifications on your phone all the time, and you kind of just you start ignoring them. It's just dinging and vibrating and doing all these things. But if the latest ping is from your security camera, you're not going to ignore that. You don't want to ignore that one. Someone's breaking in, you're at work doing something, or you're at the movies, or you're out to dinner, you're out of town. You'll see the footage in a couple hours, but great, it's too late then. Someone's already pillaged your entire house. That's why you need Simply Safe. They're not waiting for you. Simply Safe is customizable home security system. It's backed by 24/7 monitoring agents that you can rely on even when you're not around. That's the thing about it. I love Simply Safe. It's the best home security possible. We both use it for everything that we have. Our house is our studio, anything possible. And this is the reason why. Traditional security systems only act after someone's already broken in. That's the problem. It's too late. It's already happened. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. While other security systems and companies, they lock you into this long-term deal here, Simply Safe comes with no long-term contract. They earn your trust every day by keeping you safe and keeping you satisfied. They're so confident in the protection that they provide, they even back it with anti-theft guarantee. And we're not the only ones doing this either.
Nope.
Simply Safe protects over 4 million people. They have 20 years of experience in home security. They were just named the best home security of 2026 by U.S. News and World Report, and they've been named the best customer service in home security with industry-leading customer satisfaction scores to prove it. It's time, everybody.
It is.
It's time. Protect yourself. Protect everything you have. Right now, our listeners can get 50% off their new Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/small. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
So 8:41 p.m. this night, February 16th, 2009. This is on North Lake Road in Pembroke. The Genesee County Sheriff's Dispatch receives a call reporting a suspicious person walking along North Lake Road.
Yeah.
Okay, the caller is a firefighter who just happened to be passing by. Luckily, no one was shooting at him. That's good.
Yeah.
He notices a guy and then watches the man who, by the way, is dressed entirely in camouflage and wearing a white hood.
Wow.
I don't know what that is. A Klansman who blends
sucks.
into the, yeah. The white hood also kind of takes away from the camouflage. Look at that. I don't see anything. Wow, there's just a strange white head floating above that group of bushes. Like that's
Otherwise, it's just a very recognizable person floating. You know? You don't want that either.
No, it's all you see.
If you're wearing camouflage, the idea is to be disappeared.
I would think so. No, I don't know if this is a hoodie with that he's wearing under the camouflage and has the hood on, or he's got a Klan hood. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but apparently the firefighter watched this guy duck out of the road, turn away, and crouch between two parked cars to hide when this firefighter slowed down to take a look at him. And camouflage and a white hood, you couldn't be wearing a more suspicious outfit probably also.
And then behave suspiciously on top of it.
You're drawing attention to yourself.
Yeah.
If you just put on like a pair of Dockers and a polo shirt and walk down the street normal, the guy wouldn't have looked at you twice.
He wouldn't have even slowed down.
Wouldn't even have noticed you. It would have just blended into the side. It would have been you would have looked like a fire hydrant at that point. But instead, you're like, let me get the most conspicuous outfit ever and then act real weird when anybody sees me. That'll get
Wouldn't have even noticed a dude.
No, and on top of that, he was carrying a lug wrench and a large screwdriver and a car jack.
I mean,
it's got a bunch of equipment
and car breaking into equipment.
Heavy metal things he's carrying around with him, dressed like that, which is odd. So about 9 p.m. that night on North Lake Road, the cops arrive. This is Deputy James Deal responds to the dispatch call and finds it's Scott Dahl in the camouflage and the hood. That's what he's doing right now. So they're like, okay. He said, quote, he was wearing a camouflage hunting outfit and a white hood. He dropped a metal object when approached. He pulled a lug wrench from his pocket. He had what appeared to be wet blood stains on his knees, thighs, hands, and shoes.
Knees, thighs, hands, and shoes.
I just figured out how you could look more suspicious than wearing that outfit. Also be covered from head to toe in blood, or from like your waist down in blood.
From hand to toe.
Hand to toe in blood. Now, he tells the deputy, I'm wearing my deer butchering clothes because they're warm. That's why because this is February and
I usually butcher
way upstate New York.
I usually butcher with tire jacks and lug wrenches.
Well, when I'm going out to do things, I guess his excuse is it's cold, so I wore my warmest outfit.
Okay.
It happens to be covered in blood.
Right.
While I'm doing what I'm doing, which is still...
The last time I wore it was doe season.
I was chopping some shit up, So he apparently, he said, I wore my deer butchering clothes to keep warm. And they go, well, what are you doing out here?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm out walking to lower my blood pressure.
I'm keeping warm.
And I have to keep warm. Why would you bring all your tools to take a walk? Maybe he's weighing himself down. He doesn't have any of those little.
I didn't have a weighted vest.
Or those little
So I
like
just grabbed the
2-pounders that
jack.
women used to do with aerobics in the 80s. None of those. He says I have a doctor's appointment in the morning, so going to get I'm working on my blood pressure now. The night before,
because it's probably going to spike 6 a.m.
That's how it goes. So the guy, the cop says, what's with all the blood, homie? Like, what you got going on there? And he just says, it's my deer butchering outfit. He goes, yeah, but it's wet and fresh. That's wet blood. And he goes, I don't know. He just has no response to that whatsoever. I don't know. They're like, okay. He's described by the cop in his report as evasive this whole time. All he would say is, I'm out walking. I have a blood pressure thing, and I don't want to go to the doctor with high blood pressure.
Vote for me in November.
By the way, that's not the right town.
Okay.
Different town. Otherwise, we're going to get to that. You jumped it, but that's fine.
Damn it.
Totally fine. So when he's asked for ID, he pulls out his New York State Corrections Officer identification card.
Okay.
Which kind of, helps him a little bit. So the cop now treats him differently because he's one of the crew there. So at about 9 to 9:30 here, this cop agrees to give Scott Dahl a ride to his van. Yes, you be wearing a camouflage outfit covered in fresh blood and a white hood and have a bunch of weird tools on you at night in a small town and have a cop come up to you and at the end of it, have it end with him giving you a ride to your car. Do you think that's going to happen without an ID? Without the corrections officer ID?
This cop is a dummy. Who goes for a drive to go for a walk?
That's the thing. Well, I parked my car and...
What?
Yeah. So Dahl says he parked his car, or his Windstar van, at a gas station on the corner of North Lake Road and Route 5. At this point, the firefighter who placed the original 911 call comes to the scene. He's probably got a scanner. Right. He comes to the scene and tells the deputy, this is the guy I saw crouching between two cars to hide.
Right.
Somehow the cop didn't put together that someone called about a guy in this outfit crouching.
Being suspicious.
He showed up, found the guy, and said, must have been somebody else that was suspicious, not this guy.
There must have been another. Keep your eyes out, Mr. Dahl. There's a suspicious man out here.
In camouflage, a hood, and fucking bloodstains. He can't be the suspicious guy they were talking about.
Carrying wild shit. It's not you. I know that.
So at this point, finally, the deputy detains Dahl. It took this much to do it.
All
handcuffs
the way back to
him.
his car.
Places him in the patrol car. He's initially charged with trespassing for parking his van at the gas station. That's just to hang on to him for a minute.
Okay.
To find out what's going on. So the cop then, with Scott in the car, drives to the van.
Yeah.
We're at the van now. Okay. Now, when they get to the van, there's blood all over the fucking van. Everywhere.
Inside and out, or just inside?
The outside is covered in blood. There's blood stains. There's spatter on it. The inside of it, bloody as shit. Just covered in blood.
What the fuck?
Really crazy. And there's also a pair of bloody gloves found nearby.
Yeah.
Right by the van. Just a pair of latex gloves covered in blood. The jack is missing from the van. It's the same jack that he's carrying. Fits right in the spot there. The van is parked approximately 17 minutes walking from where we're going to talk about in a minute here, as we'll get to. Now, 9 o'clock to the 1:30 area. This is about 9:30. That's all going on. Now till 1:30 in the morning, the investigators basically, they believe Dahl is covered in human blood. They're like, this is not a deer. Because you would have said, I just butchered a deer, and you didn't. So they
inside
believe,
the van.
And they believe based on how much blood there is, both on him and all over the van, that somewhere somebody could be injured and in need of help. Someone's got a problem, obviously. You're not supposed to lose that much blood.
Yeah.
So they don't read him his Miranda rights, but they question him. Now, this also falls under something legal that's going to happen later called the emergency doctrine. This is the basically there's a bomb that's going to go off, so we're going to work this guy over till he tells us where it is, that kind of shit. Like exigent circumstances, but if you're trying to find somebody and trying to save a life, you don't have time to do all the other shit, and that's okay at that point.
Okay, so because there's so much blood and somebody could be in dire need of help, we'll skip those few sentences. in the interim. And we'll get to it later.
You show up and there's a guy in the front lawn with a knife and it's got blood all over it, and you know, there's a trail of blood coming from the house. You don't have to read that guy his rights before you say, is there a victim in the house? You know what I mean? That we can possibly save. So I think that's the general deal, how that works. So they start calling Scott Dahl's family members and acquaintances, which is the weirdest investigative measure I've ever heard in my life.
Who's your wife? I'm calling her. Who's your mom? I'm calling her.
They look kind of like his phone. They're just calling people to find out why he might be there and who he might have been with.
Yeah.
Where's the blood? Because Scott won't say shit. Yeah. So he refuses to answer questions while the police are searching all around. They're just driving around. And all Scott will say is that he can't talk about what's happened. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about what's happened. Right now. Nothing happened. I can't talk about what's happened. So for 4 hours, he's in the car with this deputy while he drives around the area, trying to get
Scott's phone,
trying to get information out of him while calling his relatives while he's in the back seat.
Wow,
which is wild at that point.
Yeah.
Eventually, they end up on Knapp Road at Joseph Benequist's house. Okay, which is, by the way, a 17-minute walk from where Scott was originally found. Okay. Police had called all of Scott's relatives to ask why he might be in Pembroke, since he doesn't live there. And they said, well, his business partner, the Benequist guy, he lives that way. He lives out in Pembroke. Maybe he's visiting him. So they gave the cop the address, and the police end up pulling up to Joseph Pembroke's house here. This is about 1:30, or Benequist. Yeah, Pembroke is the town. Yeah. You keep it straight.
I'm going to do my best here. God damn it, I'm too dumb for this shit.
So about 1:30 a.m., this is when this happens. They show up at Benequist's house on Knapp Road. There's a Sergeant Steve Mullen. He approaches the driveway and uses a flashlight to see Joseph Benequist on the ground between two vehicles.
Oh, no.
He's frozen, by the way.
Really?
He's been here a bit. Yeah, he's frozen over. He has frost on his eyebrows. He's like the end of The Shining, he looks like.
Yeah.
There's a large pool of blood around him, and his skull is noticeably damaged from blunt force trauma, is what it looks like. He's lying on the ground between two parked vehicles, the Pontiac G6 with a flat rear tire and the Altima with a broken jack behind its front passenger wheel.
Okay.
So that's what we got. The sergeant observed what he describes as a large pool of blood and visible damage to the skull. He has to call for an ambulance anyway. That's protocol here.
Yeah.
So they have to get confirmation of the death from a city of Batavia unit. So he cordons off the scene with yellow crime scene tape, and that's that. Joseph also has defense wounds on his hands, Benequist, as well. So he was attacked. Looks like he was attacked, beaten with a blunt object, and just left to die and freeze in his driveway, essentially.
Yeah.
It looks like he's been hit a lot, though. He's been pummeled here pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they said that the medical examiner, after they check him out, says that his ability to talk or move would have deteriorated rapidly from the attack, but he could have lived from 1 to 4 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Laying there suffering, lying on it, just bleeding out. Yeah, just bleeding. They said as he was being beaten, he tried to save himself. He put his hands up to, block his head. But they said the injuries to his hands were consistent with getting beaten with a blunt object also.
Oh, boy.
So they call for the deputy chief here and another investigator. They call for whoever's in charge, basically.
Yeah.
And they said, we did as thorough a search as we could in the dark, which does not instill confidence.
No.
I mean, we did. I think we got out. I don't know. We had flashlights.
You gotta understand. It was dark.
Yeah, we didn't bring in the 5Ks or anything. We didn't bring in lights.
The generator trailer with the lights on it. We just
didn't have that. But
this was done by Maglite. This is the Maglite investigation.
So, I mean, if you might find some extra shit in the morning, let us know if you see anything. So in his pocket, in Benequist's pocket, in the watch pocket, the small pocket of your jeans, there, the fifth pocket, he's got black jeans on. In there is a piece of paper with the name Dave and a phone number in there.
Yeah.
So they find that. So like, okay, maybe that's a clue. Now, they question the neighbors, but they all live far away. The closest one's 100 yards away. Right. Nobody heard shit.
Right.
Nobody heard anything. So 3:30 a.m., We're at the Genesee County Sheriff's Office, and there is a lady there named Teresa, Zalaskowicz, I think.
Oh.
It's got so many Z's and K's and S's in it. It's wild.
W's and shit.
All sorts of shit. Yeah, there's one of those. One of those in there. She's a retired corrections officer and a friend of Scott Dahl.
Okay.
She got a text from Scott Dahl's girlfriend, so she drives over here. She drives to pick up Scott Dahl's girlfriend in Corfu and then drive to the sheriff's office with his girlfriend. So now he's got a old work friend and his girlfriend are also at the sheriff's department where Scott's coming to. Wow. She talks to Dahl. She wants to talk to Dahl, the Teresa, not the girlfriend, the coworker.
Yeah.
They don't let. They say no. She asks again, saying, "Come on, it's a professional courtesy. I'm a corrections officer. He's a corrections officer. Let me talk." And they go, "Okay," and they let her in. They're doing a bang up job so far. The investigator in there sits in the room and takes notes while she does this. By the way, she wasn't asked by the cops to do this. This is her idea.
Okay.
So now Scott's talking to his friend, the corrections officer, not the detective. He's not under interrogation because she's talking to him, but the investigator's sitting there taking notes on whatever he says.
Anything you say is certainly going to be used against you.
Yeah. Now, Scott says to his friend, because his friend was saying, is that deer blood all over you? What's going on? He says, the case did not involve an animal. He said that I was there, but I didn't do anything. And then he said, the case is open and shut, and I'll be going to jail, and probably I'll get what I deserve. That's what he said. So that's an odd statement to make. Sounds pretty incriminating.
Yeah, it doesn't help you.
No, not at all. So let's find out with Joseph Benequist what happened to him, his injuries. There's a minor abrasion in the middle of his back and more abrasions on his right shoulder. His face was scraped in places, and there were at least 6 large gashes on his head, including a large one across his forehead. And the medical examiner said any one of those injuries could potentially lead to a person's death.
Wow.
They were all brutal. He said his hands were obviously defensive wounds. There's gashes on the inside of one hand and one finger cut down to the tendon, which is rough, and cuts on the outside of the other hand. The internal trauma consisted of 2 skull fractures, multiple bruises on his swollen brain, and blood pooling inside the skull cavity. Ugh.
Brain hemorrhaging.
They said he was struck at least 7 or 8 times. They said he might have had seizures. He might have been not able to move or speak somewhere in between this attack.
Really bad attack.
He just fucked his brain up. Just absolutely,
so much brain damage.
Hard-boiled egged his brain. Just beat that fucking shell right off of it. Then here they go and they notice some things. They had taken photographs. They go back and take some photos again the next morning. And they had photos from the night before and then photos from when there's more light. They found the G6s in the driveway with the flat tire. The Altima's got the non-functional jack. A large flashlight is visible in the photograph, which nobody tested, by the way.
What?
This is the thing. I don't know if maybe cops got it confused and thought it was another cop's flashlight or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's dark and these guys don't seem like the most crack squad of homicide detectives in this little town.
Yeah, probably. Everybody's got one out there?
Not sure. So either way, nobody ever tested that. And there was a chunk of wood in front of the tire that appeared in one photograph, but then wasn't
gone?
there. There was never one where he had an evidence marker. So it never got somebody moved it and it never got put into evidence. Somebody kicked it aside or something, possibly. No weapons ever recovered. They conclude from the nature of the skull trauma that a blunt object had been used, which they never identified what that object was or where it went. I'd start with the lug wrench in his pocket, probably. Yeah. And go from there.
And then work back to that chunk of wood in the driveway.
To the tire jack that he was carrying and a chunk of wood. The flashlight, anything heavy.
There's
really.
a lot of blunt things here.
You would think. The fingernails of Joseph were photographed in plastic bags, which is standard procedure. Yeah. A lot of places they use paper because they say plastic can get moisture built up in there. Right. This is to preserve DNA from under the nails, but the forensic testing on the hands were never requested and never done.
Oh, my word.
So he's obviously fighting and might have something under there, but they don't ever test that.
He's got lacerations on him.
Jesus. So the next morning, the Genesee County Sheriff has a press conference. and announces that, they have in custody Scott Dahl from Corfu in charge of second-degree murder, and we're holding him there, and they were colleagues and business partners, and the home was an isolated place, and he just gives kind of the thing. Sure. The Department of Corrections has to make a statement also, because it's one of theirs.
Oh, it's one of ours.
This is the statement. We don't know what triggered this. We're still trying to piece this together. They don't understand it. We don't know. We're not positive. They said that Dahl has been suspended without pay pending the outcome of the case, though.
Oh, wow. Without pay.
Without pay. Wow. So that's what it takes to get suspended without pay.
Without pay. How about so much for due process, right?
Due process. He's on fucking. He's up on a murder charge. If you worked at like State Farm Insurance Agency and you're up on a murder charge, they would fire you immediately. You're done. They're like, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know what? No pay. Yeah. How's that?
I'm sorry. I thought we lived in America.
That's fucking funny. Well, I guess it's because it's not a private. It was a private company. They'd shit can him immediately.
Oh, for now, yeah.
Because it's a government job, that's why they're doing that. They're giving him a break.
Just suspended. If he comes back acquitted, come on back to work.
Oh, you get acquitted on a Friday. Your Monday morning shift is waiting for you.
You bet.
Let's do it. So February.
And you're back in line for overtime.
Yeah, you're up on the top of the seniority list still. February 20th, 2009, they searched Scott's home. I don't know why it took them 4 days to do that, but they searched Scott's home on Main Street in Corfu, East Main Street. They find paperwork from the SF Enterprises car business, no book of registry. They find 2 MV-50 books used for DMV vehicle transfers, all the business crap. They don't find paperwork establishing a 2000 van as belonging to Benequist when it was supposed to. So they find paperwork that, like, basically Joseph was supposed to have things that he didn't have. They think Scott might have been scamming him, I think is what they're thinking. Yeah. Like, there's a van that's supposed to be titled in his name, but it's actually not titled in Benequist's name. He was supposed to pay that $10,000 to the auction house, but didn't.
He never did.
All that kind of shit. So they said that this is what they're looking over, that maybe it was a disputed car deal. Maybe Dahl was, embezzling or something, and they're trying to look into that. March 18th, 2009. It's election day, everybody.
Yeah.
It's election day. He's sitting in jail for fucking second-degree murder, but he's still on the ballot. He is the Republican candidate for mayor of Corfu. There's Republican, Democrat, Independent. He's the one.
He's a murdering candidate allegedly at this moment.
That's amazing.
Wow.
The Sandy Thomas, who's the Corfu village clerk, said that you don't know how many phone calls I've had with people asking about that. Yeah,
I love when dead guys win. That's my fucking favorite thing ever.
That's so funny.
I can't get enough of that.
And you just get his wife, is what they do usually.
Is that what they do
when the dead guy wins? Yeah. Like, because there's got to be somebody else. It's so strange when a dead guy wins.
That's so awesome, though.
He's waiting on it. He loses. He does get votes, though. He does not get shut out. That's the thing. He gets votes.
Did they just not know?
It's got 800 people. You figure maybe, 500 of them can vote. He did not lose 500 to nothing. He didn't. They have to know. It's a small town. The fucking guy running for mayor is sitting in a jail cell for murder. I think it's
fuck. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. I didn't like that guy anyway. Maybe they didn't like Benequist. Who knows? It's crazy.
Talk about
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That Benequist cut me off one time. Fuck him. I don't know. That's wild. So he loses, and Mayor Todd Skeet wins. Todd Skeet. That is a bad name for politics.
Oh, my.
There he is.
Todd Jizz.
Todd Jizz, that's right. Todd makes it worse for Skeet.
It does, yeah.
For some reason. I don't know why, but Todd really ups the ante. I don't know why. So now, Scott, he's got a version of events of what happened.
Okay.
He said he arrived at Joseph's house on Knapp Road and found Benequist already wounded.
Oh.
He said, I don't know what happened. I showed up and he was like that. They said, well, how'd you get covered in blood? He said, well, I knelt beside him and held him as he died. He did like in a movie where he's like, man, the chopper's on the way. Hang on for one more minute. And he's like, nah, man, I'm a goner.
I want to go home.
Just tell my mama I loved her. That's what's going on. No, man, you're going to make it. And then he just...
Hold on, Benequist. We're going to skip all this car sales. We're going to be shrimp boat captains.
That's what we're going to do. You can make it, Benequist. You can make it. That's what's going on here. So he said, I held him as he died, and he said his last words, Benequist's last words as he lay dying in his arms were, the boy, the boy, the boy. That's what he said. Mean? The boy. I guess that's who did it. Now, Dahl interpreted this as meaning his son Josh was the one who killed him.
Oh.
So this guy's sitting in jail trying to throw his son under the bus for murder.
His own or Benequist?
No, his own, Josh Dahl.
That's who he's saying did...
That's he said. He said
fuck?
Benequist said the boy, and he said, I think he means Josh.
My kid.
My kid. He said, so at that point he panicked. He didn't call 911, didn't even attempt CPR, even though he's a corrections officer and very much trained in emergency procedures. Yeah. We have to do that quite often. He said he just walked away.
Who was he, OJ?
Just OJ's story wasn't, I came upon the murder scene.
Yeah, but he helped the
held Nicole in my arms and then said, fuck it, and left. That wasn't his story. His story was I was flying to Chicago. I was chipping on my green. This is a
terrible story is the point.
It's a bad excuse.
How are you?
It's not good.
And he just thinks that's the end of this, and he's just going to go home and...
He thought he was going to win the mayoral race, for Christ's sake. Never mind any of this.
He thinks
he's getting his job. Yeah, he's very delusional. But, I mean, his story is, I showed up and held, because he's got his covered in his blood.
Yeah,
he can't hide that. So he has to say how the blood got there. That's how he got there. And I panicked and walked away because I thought my son did it.
Probably my own son.
That's what he said. So, I didn't want to get him in trouble. Problem is the blood on his clothing, a lot of it is impact spatter. It's not
it's not
dripping and pooling.
Contact. It's impact.
Exactly, which is that's evidence that usually that spatter is on the person doing the hitting is the thing.
The blood splashed from the body onto you rather than touching you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's been lots of debate on the science of blood spatter, but in general, the impact of it and the movement of it, you can get a pretty good idea here.
And you don't want that as your only evidence of to convict somebody, because that's a real precarious situation.
No, that's like bite marks. It's like they
you
can
don't
be
want
read
that as your only evidence.
No, they can be read different, but they always get convictions on it.
They try so hard.
They always win. They always get convictions on bite. When you bring a guy up there going, nope, they match up. People don't say, well, maybe that they just, well, that's a science guy, and he said
well, they don't
yes.
do it anymore, right? Because of it.
People still do it. They still do it.
They try to rest a whole case on that shit?
They will.
That's crazy.
They will. It's crazy, but they will. They'll try to do it. So they said the blood stains on the Pontiac G6, which has been parked in the driveway, were all transfer stains. The blood on one object transferring to another, like he got hit and fell into it and bled on it.
For everyone who solves crime from their couch, knows more about forensics than their own job, and has trust issues with small-town sheriffs, Amazon Music's millions of podcast episodes are calling. Just download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite true crime podcasts ad-free. Included with Prime.
The puddle of blood found underneath the Nissan Altima, which was also parked in the driveway, they said that blood could have gotten there as a result of another person moving the body to that area.
Okay.
Which it would have to be because his car is covered in, the minivan's covered in blood. So something happened here. Like did he start beating him in the van and then dump him in the driveway?
Started to run?
We don't know. Threw him in there, decided to take him somewhere, then said, no, fuck it, just leave him in the driveway. I'm not sure. They said the blood found on Dahl's overalls and on the Windstar van were a result of being in close proximity with Benequist during the assault. So either way.
So around the car, one way or another.
Yeah. Now, Scott's story here is that Joseph Benequist and Josh Dahl were supposed to bring the G6 to the auction that evening. When they failed to show, Scott drove out to the house to check on the situation. He arrived to find Benequist already pummeled and dying and knelt down beside him and just walked away. So that's the story he's got.
Bad story.
It doesn't seem good. It's not. I'm not buying it.
It's not that plausible. Yeah,
it really isn't. So the trial comes up, and Dahl seeks to suppress the incriminating statements he made in front of police to his friend.
Oh.
The one where he said, yeah, it's not an animal and I'll probably be going to jail, which I deserve.
That's what I deserve, yeah.
And the judge denies it and lets it in, though. So that's going to be let in,
Really?
which is real precarious, yeah. Now, the Joseph's son here, Joseph Benequist's son, Michael Benequist, takes the witness stand here. They have a series of his checks written from the key bank here. The son agreed that all of his father's signatures on the checks were valid and had been signed by his father. However, the contract for the title of a 2006 Chevy Malibu, he said that is not my father's signature on that one. So they're trying to say that Dahl was forging Benequist's signature so he could steal some shit here. So then they show Benequist's son 3 videos from the Odessa auction camera. In the third video, the son was asked to observe a gentleman wearing a plaid jacket, and the video revealed the man speaking and standing next to another man, and the second man was recorded wearing a tan jacket and a baseball cap. They said they asked if the individual in plaid was your father, and he said that he wasn't completely sure, but it might be. The other 2 videos showed the man in the tan jacket wearing a baseball cap at the auction as well. They agreed that in 2 of the videos, his father's 2006 Chevy Malibu was passing by the camera. However, he testified that he couldn't recognize who the other man was wearing the tan jacket. They're trying to say that was Dahl.
Yeah.
The medical examiner said, they asked them, this is the defense attorney, they said, could the injuries have been caused, or I'm sorry, the prosecution was asking this, setting it up. Could the injuries have been caused by a car falling off a jack and onto him and then bouncing 8 times, crushing his skull? Obviously, that happens. Those tires
over again. Yeah.
They're so bouncy. They're so bouncy.
Yeah, and then you oftentimes get defensive wounds trying to fight the car off.
You do that, but it eventually overpowers you and just keeps pummeling your head.
It's going to get you. Yeah.
That's what happens. Yep.
Especially the 2006 Malibu. That's why they recalled it.
Well, I hear the Altima was really famous for that. That's
why they stopped making Pontiacs.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Very aggressive cars.
One too many bodies on those things. They couldn't take it anymore. So they said, are the abrasions consistent with the body being dragged across a hard surface? They said even though the victim was fully clothed and had a jacket on, and they said, yes, it is. So he was dragged to this spot, probably in between the cars so he couldn't be seen so easily.
Can't be seen, right. So he can bleed out, right.
Yeah. So cross-examination, the defense attorney asked if one could distinguish between injuries on the hand stemming from striking against something or being struck by something. So could you tell if Joseph hit something or was hit with his hand injuries?
Okay.
And the medical examiner said no, but when the injury occurs at or below the second knuckle, it's consistent with defensive actions.
Which one's the second knuckle?
I think in the middle, because that would be one on each side. So
yeah,
the middle.
Would it be
knuckle.
above that or below? Which one's
that or below?
I
don't know. That's crazy.
That's a confusing ass statement.
It's a very confusing statement. I'm very confused.
Yeah.
So they asked if the abrasions on his back were the result of being dragged. We have that. And they said also, could they be the result of being dragged along, or were they the result of him lying on his back and trying to fend off an attacker?
Oh.
And the medical examiner said there's no way to make that distinction. They're basically trying to say you don't know what happened. That's what their defense is.
All I know is that if you have injuries on the backs of your hands that are big gashes, 100% that's defensive.
Yeah, or even on the palms of your hands because you're doing this. Yeah. That stab wounds are usually palms of the hands. Yeah.
But if you got you don't do things with the back of your hand.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not
you
generally
do nothing
not.
with them.
Nope, not at all. Unless you're covering up and getting hit. So,
James, that's what he did.
Covering up his skull.
Nice work right there.
Okay.
That's exactly what he did.
I think that's what he did. It seemed to make sense.
100%.
Cover up, and then if you got wounds here, if you punch someone, it's not going to get on the back of your hand.
Yeah, it's never the backs of your hands.
Nope. So they also said under cross-examination that it's difficult to say.
Dang, that was great.
We did it. We figured it out.
You just cracked the case.
We cracked the case, Jimmy. We're on it. They said that they asked how much Benequist's body could have been moved or whether he was able to speak or for how long, and they said they don't know. The attorney also asked if a murder victim's nails and matter underneath them typically undergoes forensic testing. Mm-hmm. The guy said yes. He said that was done in this case too, and the data was submitted to the DA's office, but they said the DA apparently opted not to include them in the case files, which is you have to include that kind of shit in the case files. That's something the defense can use.
If you're doing it, yeah.
Yeah. They asked if there was a piece of paper with the name Dave on it and a phone number inside his pocket. And he said, yes, that was also submitted. There was also a sliver of silver-like material embedded, found near one of the victim's wrists. They said that those two submissions also didn't make it into the case file. So the Dave, this is not good.
No.
Looks like you're hiding shit when you do that. That's bad.
Especially when it's a man's name and phone number.
Exactly.
Who was that? Why was he supposed to be in contact with them?
Was he selling? Yeah. Did he call? Was that guy supposed to come and look at a car, and then this guy decided to kill him and rob him instead? Who knows?
Private sales of cars historically have a terrible connotation for safety.
I'm not selling anybody shit. You can fuck off. I am not doing that. Whatever.
Throw it in the trash or donate it.
Either I'll keep it or give it away to somebody. I'm not gonna get stabbed in the face for $60 somewhere. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
For just an ottoman.
Nope. They bring in a blood spatter expert.
Yeah.
And he agreed with the defense attorney that from looking at the autopsy report, there were a number of large cuts on the head. The cause of the blood spatter onto Dahl's shoes, overalls, and the outside of the Windstar, they're trying to put that into question. So the defense attorney says, is it safe to say that if enough blood came down Bennequist's head, it could have sprayed onto other individuals nearby? How would it spray?
If you hit it?
If you maybe aspiration? If you something?
Or if the blood came down and you hit the puddle, that splashes, right?
Maybe, yeah. That's a good point. They said which is called expiration, and it's blowing blood off from the nose, mouth, or wound pushed by an air source. So yeah, if you got blood in your mouth, you go like that, and it sprays everywhere. So this guy agreed and testified that was possible. So he's saying, so maybe while he was holding him, he was going and spitting blood, and that's
okay. So you said expiration? Aspiration is when you breathe it in.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Expiration is out. So they said that the impact spatter of blood from a beating can have the same size and range as blood from coughing blood. Yeah. So he said, though, but expirated spattered blood can appear similar to impact blood by size and range. He said, though, this is what he had on his clothing and vehicle were completely consistent with impact spatter, and that we notice in our case studies and experiments. So then the defense has a spatter expert who's saying, this is, what are we talking about? This is blood getting breathed out, obviously, here. So what are we talking about? So then Scott testifies.
Got to.
He's got to at this point.
He's going to tell his story.
He said, Joseph Bennequist was my friend. When he's asked by his attorney if he's ever seen anyone die before, he said, yes, a family member. Then he began to tear up.
And then Joseph Bennequist.
He's very sensitive. He fought back tears. And they said, did you kill Joseph Bennequist? And he said, no, I did not. While he was crying, I did not. He said that he was with him when he died and that he interpreted the boy to mean his son Josh had been involved. So he even threw him under the bus in court. Verdict comes in here, so this could go either way.
Could it? Yeah, I mean, based on what they've done with the investigation, for surezies.
They look terrible, the prosecution, but the problem is his story is dog shit.
Dog shit.
His story of I showed up, saw him dying, held him for a minute, and then just shrugged and walked away and didn't call 911 is fucking wild. I'm sorry.
I nurtured him like a good dad would because I didn't for my son who murdered this man.
I was going to say, like a good dad because I'm not a good dad. That's why my son's a murderer. Anyway, which is crazy. So he is found guilty of second-degree murder.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he was charged with.
Sure.
People on the defense side, his friends and family, there's women sobbing and running out of the room. So he's got a big supporter section here.
Wow.
Now he's wearing his nice pressed suit and everything like that. They escort him to a holding cell, and then they have to process him into the jail. When he's processed into the Genesee County Jail following the conviction, they discover that he's got a green balloon.
Where?
Containing they don't say where. You can only guess.
Yeah.
If it's in a balloon, It's only in a balloon
for that
one.
balloon.
Yeah, only in a balloon for one reason, because that shit's going to be in your colon. Right. I feel like
he's got to protect it from being absorbed.
Totally. So he found a balloon full of a white powdery substance.
He was going to smuggle that in, huh?
Yep. So that was sent to the lab for testing. He was charged with promoting prison contraband in the second degree.
Promoting it.
Tweeting
That's about it.
Yeah, he's like, hey, man, this contraband's the best shit. It's so cool. Followers totally hit up this contraband. Smash that like button. Yeah, at contraband. June 10th, 2010, his trial for contraband comes up. They said that his attorney said this on the drive to Batavia is only the sixth time he's seen daylight since being incarcerated, because he's been transferred 5 separate times between prisons. Now they end up acquitting him of the charge in 5 minutes, the jury.
Wow.
He had a balloon full of shit. I don't get where the disconnect comes from, but I don't know if they felt bad for him or what, but whatever. June 22nd, 2010, Dawn Dahl. This is Scott's sister. Okay. She's 53. She's charged with a Class A misdemeanor after she sent a Father's Day card to a member of the sheriff's office. Now, in this Father's Day card, she wrote, it's not from anybody, but she doesn't put a from. This is like, she's trying to throw like the investigation off is what they're saying, I think, anyway. That's the accusation. It says in the card, she sent a Father's Day card to the guy and then told a state trooper later on, I should have never done it. If I could take it back, I would. So they get it.
Why does she know the guy?
I don't know. She sent a card. I think it was something sarcastic of, whatever. His son won't get to see him. Something like that, I think, is the implication.
Got it.
Thanks a lot.
Since you took my father away, I'm going to send these to you kind of thing?
Sister. This is his sister. But he has kids too, and who the fuck knows what they're thinking. Right. Either way, there's a no contact order now on her. Sure. July 2nd, 2010, murder sentencing. Here we go, baby. You, sir, may fuck off 15 years to life is what he gets.
Wow.
15 years to life, and that's going to be in protective custody because he's a fucking CO. And that's going to be not great.
So he's going to do 15 before the opportunity, but does he have to do 60% of that, or does he have to do all 15?
We'll find out.
All right.
October 13th, 2013, Court of Appeals. And the whole Court of Appeals is whether the emergency doctrine justified the warrantless detention and questioning of him. The court rules that it does warrant that. They said that law enforcement's response to a serious and ongoing exigent situation under the emergency doctrine was reasonable. This ruling becomes a landmark case in New York for the emergency doctrine cases. So this is like the standard of it, apparently.
Somebody's covered in blood. You should be able to, I think, right?
They're covered in blood and they won't tell you where it came from.
Right.
And even...
And they're not cut.
Exactly. I get the other side of it is they're using that as an excuse to question you without your rights and all that shit. But it's also a good excuse to be able to say, we're trying to save somebody's life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're both being disingenuous saying, I don't understand. I shouldn't talk to you unless I get read my rights. And you saying, I'm sure there's someone still alive, even though you have 4 people's entire bodies worth of blood on you. I'm sure there's living people out there I need to save.
Also, all of this blood on me when I talk to them is certainly not going to be used against me. That's a crazy thought to have.
Exactly. 2016, a single DNA sample at the scene obtained at the scene where Benequist was found does not match the DNA profile of Benequist and may not match Scott Dahl's, they said.
What?
So they want to check that out. But I mean, that just means someone else was in the driveway at some point. So that's
it depends on where the DNA was at and where it came from.
Yeah, they said the minor component of the DNA profile is insufficient to support an inclusion or exclusion and is therefore not suitable for comparisons. So that's that, apparently, on those. Andrew Dahl here said, quote, I feel there is something more than what's on the surface. There seems to be a lot more loose ends that need to be looked at. For the sake of both families, I hope we can get some kind of conclusion. Dude, he said his story's terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that story, maybe you could believe him. But when you come up with a story like that, you're getting convicted of murder. Sorry.
Good. Yeah.
It's crazy. So then they're talking about new DNA testing because there's a motion in 2016 to vacate evidence or to vacate the conviction. It was made on the discovery that no fingernail scrapings were taken from Benequist. They never took the fingernail scrapings in the beginning, even though the medical examiner said they did and sent it to the DA, which is not good. New testing of the blood-spattered clothing from the crime scene was also ordered. That led to the discovery of DNA that apparently matches neither Dahl nor Benequist.
What the hell?
So whose fucking blood is that? So the jury didn't know that there was no fingernail scrapings taken from Benequist, and they didn't know about the possibility of third-party DNA at the crime scene. So they have a motion to vacate based on that. So anyway, they say it's not as clear-cut as Deal asserts, as there was a third-party blood on Benequist's boot. They said they want a hearing so they can figure it out. We'll find out what happens here. They end up getting nothing out of that. No? He's still in jail on the 23rd, in 2023. He's still in jail. He appeals again, trying to get out. October 2024, he has a parole hearing.
Yeah.
Well, the parole hearing's in June, but the decision comes then. This is what Dahl said in the parole hearing. He said he's been a member of the same church his whole life. He hopes the board would see him as a good person. He said, my whole life I've tried to be a good man. And for me to be accused of this, it's a deep scar with me, deep scar. He said, every day I walk around, I have officers who look at me, look at him, just treat me like dirt sometimes. I always tried to be fair to everybody. I always lent a helping hand, even in here. I've helped people. I've paid mortgages for people that I've never even met. I just want to help people, and that's just my nature, and that's the way I've lived my life. Whether it's in the fire department, whether it's through the church or community, I've always stepped up and volunteered for everything.
I didn't do it?
That's what he said. When asked about losing his friend, he said, I've been through a lot of emotions. I feel crushed because of the fact that I'm sitting here and that I've not been cleared of this and that I've been accused of killing my friend. I'm devastated. He's devastated. He said,
I'm a victim.
I'm a victim. He said, I find it hard to believe in a system that can let somebody manipulate it, like it was done. And that's, the changing reports was the only part of it, meaning the changing reports there of statements and things like that. He then says he was laying in a pool of blood. I knelt by him, and I was with him when he took his last breath. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't act right because I thought maybe somebody was close to me that was involved in it, and I lawyered up and basically took it from there, and they convicted me by manipulating the system, basically. So blaming other people. This is not how you do a parole hearing, by the way.
No. And sticking to your own story and putting yourself at the scene of the crime at the time of the death,
but
and then trying
to
claim innocence, and then that you're railroaded and that you're a victim. This is crazy.
He said that he suspected his son could have done it because they never got along, so he's blaming him here. His son was cleared because he had gone to the Home Depot that evening and security footage cameras saw him there. Yeah. So it wasn't him. He said, I just couldn't think of anybody else who would have done it. That's why he thought his son did it. He said he didn't render aid. He didn't attempt CPR. He said, I didn't have a destination in mind when I walked away that I could think of at the time. I was just walking, trying to get my head around everything that transpired. They said, well, you should express some remorse. Do you have any remorse? And he said, I do feel remorse, and I do feel sorry because, again, there is things that I should have done. I'm not blameless, and this is as far as I should have done. I should have come forward and said, this is what I think happened, but I didn't. I let them run with the investigation, and, I guess I don't feel 100% blameless in this.
Oh, boy.
So the board said, this panel was disturbed when you stated that you knew Joseph Benequist for many years and did not express any remorse for the loss of his life or the pain and suffering his family sustained. They said that you need to continue your rehabilitation so you can understand the harm you caused and develop empathy for your victim's family. They said that his actions that night were an aggravating factor in their findings. They said you watched your victim die without attempting to render him any medical assistance. You stated that you left and just started walking. In doing so, you thought of yourself and acted in your own self-interest at the expense of your victim's humanity. Your release at this time would trivialize the tragic loss of life you caused and would therefore deprecate the serious nature of this crime as to undermine the respect for law. They said you did do nice in prison. You haven't fucked up. You got your you helped inmates get their GEDs. You completed a horticulture training program, which is growing produce for the food pantry program.
Yeah.
But
congratulations, FFA. Fuck off.
you're still a scumbag. Eat
Yeah.
dicks. Go on. So he's out. He's still in prison apparently here. Still appealing the shit out of it. And he's got some good legal points, but he's got a better chance there than he does with the parole board, I feel like.
Probably true. Yeah, for an overturn, or at least a new trial.
Something. So there you go, everybody. That is Pembroke, New York. Wild goddamn. The mayor. He almost, imagine if he
was
won.
almost the mayor.
Almost the mayor. There you go. If you like that show, tell everyone you know about it. Also get on whatever app you listen to shows on, or Netflix or whatever, and give us 5 stars. It helps tremendously drive us up the charts. Follow us on social media at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. Get yourself some tickets to live shows. shutupandgivememurder.com. Let's see. Our next shows are in May. May 1st, Salt Lake City sold out. May 2nd, Denver, still some tickets. May 29th, Buffalo, sold out. But Royal Oak, Michigan on May 30th still has some tickets. So get in there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crime in sports is where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get hundreds of back episodes you've never heard before immediately upon subscription. New ones every other week. One crime in sports, one small town murder, and you get them all. This week, craziest sports names that's ever existed. We're going to make fun of people's funny names from 100 years ago. It's going to be great. Then for Small Town Murder, we are going to talk about Stockholm Syndrome, where the term came from. One of the craziest things I've ever heard, this story of crime and insanity that happened there. That is patreon.com/crime in sports. Plus, you get everything we put out ad-free, and you get a shout-out at the end of the regular show. That said, keep coming back and hanging out with us. You want to follow us on social media, shutupandgivememurder.com is the place to go and find us. Keep coming back each week, and until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
Hey, everybody, listening to Small Town Murder out there. Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you out there. I'm here with Jimmy, too. And this is an ad, but not an ad for a product. This is an ad
This is
for
the best
tour
kind.
dates. Yes, come see a live show, the 2026 tour.
Yeah.
All the tickets are for sale right now, starting out with February 21st in Nashville, March 6th in Durham, March 7th in Atlanta. Phoenix is sold out. We do have tickets, though, to Your Stupid Opinions on the 21st of March. Salt Lake City sold out. Denver has tickets. Be there on May 2nd. May 29th, Buffalo sold out. Royal Oak, Michigan, May 30th. We have September 18th, Milwaukee, September 19th, Minneapolis, October the 3rd in Dallas, October 16th in San Jose, October 17th in Sacramento, November 13th in Terrytown, November 14th in Boston. Come see us. The live shows are spectacular. Come join all of the other STM people. You're going to meet so many people. You're going to have fun.
Make some new friends.
Like crazy and make some new friends. Come out and see us. Shutupandgivememurder.com is where you go for those tickets. Get them right now while they're hot.
See you on the road.